they like this. It's very easy to tell. Whereas when you go to most other cities, most people, they on some car shit. Or if they driving, you don't just hear them like blasting music. Or you don't hear music coming out the window from upstairs or some shit. And when Jay-Z dropped that, Dear Summer, I Know You Gonna Miss Me, Before We Been Together Like Night Airs and Chris T's, S. Dotson, Polo Fleeces, Purple Label shit with the logo. See, that's the other thing too. Jay put me on a lot of shit that I didn't know about, my dad didn't know about, my mom didn't know about. It was like, wow. It's like this nigga said, Purple Label with the logo secret. Next thing you know, I got Purple Label. And the thing about Jay-Z, with the stuff that Jay made a fad though, the thing that I like about the fads that Jay-Z set, besides like a cup, just like one or two, is that all of them shits had longevity. Like if you like Purple Label is the classy line. So if you bought Purple Label when Jay-Z was rapping about it, it ain't like buying an iceberg sweater with the Snoopy. Nah. You feel me? You can the iceberg sweater. It ain't like buying Coogee when Cameron came out. Coogee is cool, but in Coogee, let me take that back. But you know what I'm saying? Like niggas came out FUBU. It was a lot of shit that rappers made hot. But it was more like that shit didn't, the clothes itself didn't stand the test of time. That Purple Label shirt, I still got that shit. Like, so when I think about hip hop and all that shit, I guess it is like one of those things where Jay did make niggas, and even to this day, he's still talking about the hustle. He's just talking about it at a level where we got to get signed now. So, it's good. Yeah. It's good to listen to Jay. You can't lose by listening to Jay.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right? Yo, I'm telling you, like that track Family Feud, like when they start singing, like, hi, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wins when the family feuds. What's better than 1 Billionaire 2? Especially if they saying you was you. Come on. Like, how can a nigga hate on that?
There's no way. It's no way. What's better than 1 Billionaire 2? That's true.
Exactly.
And it makes and I'm gonna tell you, Jay-Z said, and what's deep, bro, about this whole conversation, I walked in the RV yesterday, right? Because I stayed after work. I'm listening to Jim Rohn. And I told my wife, I said, I'm not concerned, baby, because we're going to get this shit regardless. Why? Jay-Z said it. This spiritual shit really works.
He really did say that shit.
If this doesn't mean anything else, but for us, we have gotten numerous confirmations that this spiritual shit really works. This is, for us, this is like Jay sunning us, but in a way, when we really boil it down to all the shit that he's saying, Jay coming from a spiritual essence. I think that is when I like Jay-Z the most. It was on a DJ Clue mixtape. The song was like, I hear the people talk, concerning where we walk. And Jay came on and he said, now that my soul's aligned, didn't know before, now my role's defined. To take sole control of what's mine. Come and get me. Try to take my life, you coming with me. But he said something about, like, it was like back when Jay was like still like street. Yeah. And he said my purpose has a line now that my soul's defined. The shit that he said was spiritual. And when I hear Jay address a lot of things, he do address them from a spiritual place. And so this is like, you know, for us and what we doing, it's like a confirmation. I'm listening to Jim Rohn, and I'm listening to the things that he's saying last night, and I'm taking down notes, and I'm like, now I'm extracting, coming with my own shit, and it's just like, it's beautiful, bro. Like because ultimately, the reason why I'm saying this is because really the full circle of it is that the shit that we teach Jay-Z, we could teach Jay-Z. That's the part that
Yeah. How about that?
that's
yeah,
that's because in actuality,
that's
it
our
ain't
customer.
even necessarily that.
He's our
That's
customer.
our customer. That's what I'm saying.
He's looking for us because he heard it. Like what you just said, that line that Jay-Z said, because I remember that on Clue. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, my purpose is defined now that my soul is aligned. You know what I'm saying? Like that is ultimately what we want people to do. To align their souls, you know what I'm saying, their souls, their spirits with their purpose and their life. That's how you win.
Yes.
That's how you win. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z just said that shit because he rapping, but like there's some people that are like that like you said, like whether they know it or not, whether they know it's earth luck or heaven luck, or you know what I'm saying, they just find it and they click and it's like, well, the shit working, let me keep working it, but I can't explain it. You know what I'm saying? I can't articulate it to somebody else. I just know the shit works.
Right.
Well, guess what? We digging. We explaining. So even this conversation is important. You know what I'm saying? For the growth. Like, yeah, like if we'd have just stuck on T. Harv Eker, we wouldn't have got this deep into the work. You know what I'm saying? Like certain conversations we have, some are more impactful than others, but what happens is it's like we never settled. And we keep digging. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo.
Which is the key. And even with T. Harv Eker, I said it and I only dug once and then I dropped it. And I think in terms of like what I learned from last night, like I'm listening to like in all of these books, bro, like literally they like one thing that they said could be a whole book. Like one thing, like Jim Rohn said last night, he said the disease of attitude. He said, now this is negative, but we got to deal with the negative. In my opinion, you got to handle the negative because there's a war going on. There's a war of good and evil. There's a war of this, that, and the third. And so, my advice is we got to handle the negative. Don't not pay attention to the negative. You have to be active because if you're not, the next thing you know, the evil will overtake the good. Like the weeds will come up and they'll be all around your feet. And so just that one thing could be a whole book. Because first thing we got to do is how to handle the negative, right? How to handle the negative, for one, as I'm rewriting what he said, how to handle the negative, for one, is to realize that you made up a lie, first and foremost. That you made up a lie of good and bad, right and wrong, evil. There's no such thing. Negative does not mean bad. Negative is necessary. And negative is subpar. And we all are subpar and have or will be subpar at some point in our life. But the question becomes, how do you deal with the negative? So first thing is you need to realize that you created a lie about what it means to be negative. Secondly, so you made negativity a bad thing is what I'm saying. You made negativity the boogeyman. Second thing is that, well, about that is that you need to introduce negativity into your life. So this is where we talk about cures. You need to introduce salt water into your life. and have that in your home to soak up the charge, the positive ions. You need to have, because negative energy is good energy. You should welcome negative energy, because negative energy is how you, because your life cannot be electric without negative energy. Okay? So this is where we go into the spiritual, where we just took one thing about handling the negative, and of course I wrote down more, but I'm not looking at my book right now. But this is one thing where we talk about handling the negative in terms of, first we got to talk about handling the negative because we want to deal with these diseases. So we totally deconstructed what it means to be negative right then and there. And let people know that one of the mental diseases is righteousness. And righteousness is a vicious circle. It's something that it goes from an ego trip to a guilt trip. Ego trip to a guilt trip. That's the vicious circle. If you're right, somebody got to be wrong. If that's good, something has to be bad. So your whole life is this circle. If you're wrong, then that means you're bad. That's all a myth. So right then and there, how do you cure that? By first and foremost developing a new relationship with your words, your language. All right, language is very important. And if you don't understand that at the very end of the day, you say a lot of things that you created a story about that is not true. Once you realize that, you have an ability to do great things. So just taking these things, like I said, handling the negative is one book. That's what I'm realizing when I'm studying these dudes, is that from like one word, but the most important thing that I'm getting from studying is the setup, like how they set it up. Because the setup to me is the part where we are basically saying we want to create a context for the reader. You get what I'm saying? So that when they read it, the words connect. So this man saying these are the attitude diseases. Bong, 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 bong. I'm out. 30 minutes. There you go. To write a 30-minute book is to write a book that somebody listens to for 30 minutes is enough time.
Yeah. I think, and that's what we've been working, like, just I think we know which way we gotta attack. I think it's just planning the attack is what we've been really trying to like cultivate. How do we plan the attack? You know what I'm saying? Like, do we just focus on the light? Nah, we gotta focus on the dark, because people focus on the dark. They don't even know that the dark is impacting their life in the manner that it is. Like, that's been consuming them. That's why they can't get to the light. So we got to deal with people where they at. You know? Yeah, I'm about to hop in the shower though, my nigga. I got to get this day going, man.
And that's exactly what he said. We got to deal with the dark.
Digging, brother. Digging. Yo, but let me get going. I'm about to take a quick shower, man.
All right.
Yo, hit me on your halftime.